What is the most absurd reason you've heard for somebody cancelling their wedding? These are Reddit's best answers to that question. A bride cancelled the wedding a week before because she was a hardcore Disney adult and she was offered a temp job at Disney and felt she couldn't miss the opportunity of her dreams. Yeah, like getting a temp job at Disney isn't going to come round again. What? Well, why couldn't she get married and do the temp job, someone asks? Fiancé didn't approve? Conflicting dates? Disney only wants single women working their temp jobs? Well, no, we live quite a few states away from Disney and she said she couldn't do the long distance. Really, she just wanted to party like a frat bro in Florida without any repercussions. She made a songs to have sex to playlist on their shared Spotify a few days after they broke up. It absolutely crushed him. Oh my gosh, on their shared Spotify, that is awful. My Italian uncle cancelled his wedding because the bride's family, who were not Italian, would not serve lasagna at the wedding reception. He ended up marrying an Irish woman whose family was okay with serving lasagna at the reception. That just seems so pedantic, but also kind of silly, right? If the groom wants lasagna, just serve lasagna. Surely that's fine. One of my friends was engaged and is Catholic. Her husband had to convert, and he had a dream where he was in a Catholic church, but not getting married. He was a priest. So he had a vision of becoming a priest, and now the wedding is off. What? He's cancelled his wedding because of a dream. Wow. The best man said in his speech that he slept with the bride about 2 weeks before the wedding. Here we go. All hell broke loose. The groom demanded that the marriage be cancelled. It took a few days to get the truth out and for the groom to finally listen. The best man thought it would be a great prank. It didn't even happen. How could that ever be a great prank? The groom was apologetic to the bride, but she didn't forgive him because he believed in others' lies and wouldn't let her talk. Oh my God. So I see. So no matter what she kind of said afterwards, the fact that he was so adamant that no, that did actually happen, meant that she felt that she probably couldn't ever trust him again if he wasn't willing to listen to her and let her explain things. Oh my God. So this stupid prank actually broke them up, even though they both realized now that it was a prank. Wow. My friend's former fiance was a nice dude. Firefighter, easy to talk to, treated her well and got her a nice ring. Every now and then the ring would go missing, but he'd eventually find it safe and sound. She had a good job too and was giving him thousands of dollars a month to fix up a house they'd bought to live in after they'd gotten married. Well, it turns out the dude was living 2 lives, or attempting to, at the very least. He's married for 10 plus years and had 2 kids. The engagement ring was his wife's and he stole it back every now and then to find it for her. There was never a house, he never bought one, and he used all the thousands he'd been given solely on cocaine. Needless to say, they cancelled the wedding. How do you even begin to live that sort of double life? If you're watching, my friend, if this is about you, comment down below. Give me, 10 steps, because I want to know. I was going to be a guest at a wedding, and I found out it was cancelled 2 weeks before the date. The bride found out that the groom had gotten a significant discount on the price of the venue, and she was insanely angry that anything at her wedding costs less than the premium. That is just dumb logic right there. If you can get something for cheaper, why would you not do that? It's the same venue. I don't understand. Keep in mind, this was her dream venue that she had chosen. She was just mad that her fiancé was cheap or something. I was never super close to either of them, but the last I heard, they never ended up getting married. Again, just really dumb. Guy dodged a bullet there. I agree with that comment. One of my Marines has one that takes the cake. His marriage was cancelled because his spouse's parents had a dream that he would become abusive and an addict. She left him because of her parents' dream. He's now... Okay, again, what is it with these dreams? He's now a multi-millionaire that's an abusive addict. What? So they were actually right about him being an abusive addict. I mean, that's crazy. But he is a multimillionaire. What would you rather? They realized after everything was already planned, invites sent out, etc., that they didn't like the date. They moved it to 2025 so there wouldn't be a 4 in their wedding date. What the... I mean... again, so irrelevant. My cousin called it off 3 days in advance because the bride and groom couldn't agree on whether to hyphenate their last names or use his. In retrospect, there was a significant class/culture divide, of which that was merely one symptom. Okay, that's fair enough, because if that was the sole reason, I'd say that is stupid and not a reason to not get married, but yeah, if it's more of a cultural thing, it's tough, but probably for the best. My mum was engaged to be married to her high school sweetheart. Let's call him Bob. Bob went to her doorstep 2 weeks before their wedding and told her he'd joined the military and wasn't ready for marriage. He flew to Germany the next day. Oh my goodness me. Fast forward 30 years and 2 divorces later, my mum was single with 5 children from 2 marriages. She runs into her old high school sweetheart, Bob. He's also single and recently divorced. They fall in love and have been together ever since. Spoiler alert, Bob is actually his name. That's actually a really nice story. Wow. You know what? I kind of rate it from Bob. He could have waited a little bit, given your mum more of a kind of warning. But if you really wanted to do what he did and join the military, then you've got to follow your heart. You come into this life on your own. You gotta do these things. And yeah, eventually it worked out, I guess. Maybe you could have not really done with the 30 years of pain for both of you, but you know, at least you found each other eventually, I guess. Because the man was gay and she was just his test to see if he could love a girl. She was heartbroken, but had her suspicions about him. Back down to earth. A friend of mine dated a guy for 8 years. They were young. It started in high school. Had the wedding all planned and mostly paid for. A month before the wedding, she found him stealing her money and gambling with her. She ended up selling her dress on eBay. Gave the ring back to his best friend, who it turns out paid for it. What? Then eventually married that best friend. They're still happily married 10 years later with a cute little boy. Again, it kind of works out, right? Bride ended up getting gangbanged at her bachelorette party by strippers. Oh gosh, yeah. Sorry you had to hear that. One of the bridesmaids filmed it and put it online. The bride's grandpa found it and told the groom. Oh my god. That got worse every sentence. Imagine being the grandpa. Like, what are you searching to find that? Sorry, just what are you... How has he found that? How has he found... Oh, that's too many questions there. Too many questions. Let's move on. Family member, very nitpicky, left her husband after 2 months of marriage for constantly leaving his socks on the floor. To this day, talks about what an amazing man and partner he was. If only he put his dirty socks in the hamper instead of on the floor. How about, if he is so amazing, you just say, look, nobody's perfect. This is going to be something I'm going to have to deal with, and maybe we can work on it together, rather than saying, I love you so much, you are perfect, but you leave one item of dirty laundry on the floor. Like, I don't think that's worth it, really. Is a divorce worth it over some socks? For me, no. My brother called it off on the morning of the wedding. She was incredibly controlling, faked a pregnancy, and didn't want to meet any of his family, even though she lived a mile away. I wouldn't have waited until the morning of the wedding to do that then. Sorry, just my opinion. Anyway, her mother got her to cancel the reception hall a week before because she wanted it at her house. Loads of people dropped out, and my brother felt the pressure. I thank the universe that he called it off. I doubt I would have seen him again. I wish he didn't do it on the day though. Yeah, once again. Do it earlier. So many red flags. My uncle and ex-aunt called off the wedding because God told them to wait a month before the wedding. Okay, fair enough. I am an atheist, but I'll accept that. They lived across the country, so my parents had to fly with 3 children under 10 years old, and the tickets were non-refundable. See, that is a disgrace. I'm sorry, you've cost someone a lot of money there for, in my opinion, a pretty silly reason. I mean, look, I'm not religious, so I feel like it's easier for me to say that, obviously, but come on, you're costing people a lot of money there just because God told you to wait a month before the wedding. Really? I don't know if I necessarily get behind that. Nonetheless, my uncle called my dad with the new date about 6 months after the original date. My mum called him later, and when he asked if we would be coming to the new wedding, she said that she spoke to God and he told her to bring her kids to Disney instead. That is, I mean, that is simply sensational. I kind of wish that I thought of something as funny as that myself. That is, sums up my thoughts exactly. Absolute genius. My parents still joke about it today, and my uncle divorced that wife a year or 2 later. Happy ending though, he married his best friend about a decade later, and they truly are perfect for each other. She really is a wonderful woman, and we couldn't be happier for them. But oh my goodness me. This right here is the best sign I've ever heard. She spoke to God and he told her to bring her kids to Disney instead. Hold that. In other words, hold that. So good. They did nothing. They picked a date, sent mails with it to invite people, and then did nothing until a week before said date. Of course, they couldn't rent the venue they wanted, nor find another one. They couldn't find a caterer or dressers or anything on time. But also, legally, they couldn't get married in such short notice. So they cancelled the wedding and will get married later. It's been 5 years. They're still not married. Totally real and legitimate, but crazy. Scheduled to get married in 2021. During lockdown, fiance was out of work and went QAnon crazy. didn't want his future wife to get vaccinated. She did. That night, she woke up to him running a magnet over her body. Oh, wow. He said he was seeing if she was chipped or magnetized by the vax and was happy that she wasn't. Oh, what a shock. She asked what he would do if he found it, and he said, cut it out of you. And that was the last straw, thank God. The wedding was a couple of weeks away at that point, and they lost a ton of money, but she escaped the crazy. Guys, comment down below. How much money would you lose to escape someone as crazy as this? The groom had a fake SSN because he was dodging child support from a previous marriage. He told the bride he had neither an ex-wife or child. The social security number was figured out at the courthouse when they were applying for a marriage license. He'd created fake documents at a Staples that morning. Yeah, that's as good a reason as any. Faking documents to escape child support is a new one. Sensational. I was at the bachelor party when the text came in that she was calling off the wedding that was in 1 week. Because we're super nerds, we decided on going to arcade hopping around LA instead of bar hopping. I drove because I am the sober friend. She was at her bachelorette party in Vegas at the same time with about 8 of her closest friends. We all meet in the afternoon and drove to the earliest closing arcade. Fiance was texting pics of the girls at a Vegas show. He starts texting pics back. It was cute. They both kept it up throughout the night. At about 8 PM she stopped. We figured they were at a show where cameras should be away, and he kept sending fun pics. At 9:30, he got like 4 long texts in a row while I was driving to a barcade. Everyone was a couple of beers in for the night, as the last place was also a barcade. It turns out, after a group discussion with the girls, she did not want to raise a child husband, and he would have to give up video games and D&D and get adult hobbies. There was some long explanation that I feel like was being fed to her by her friends. He said they should talk about it when they get back, and it was not something to figure out that night while they were out having fun. She said, agree or no wedding. He said, no wedding. An arcade adventure with the guys got his wedding cancelled. She was big mad that he would not discuss it when she got back and tried to tell him that she was drunk and someone else sent the text and she didn't mean it. But man, that was a wild ride that night. Oh, on your stag do, hearing that text, I mean, goodness me, that is strange. And now for our final post of this Ask Reddit episode. One of my former friends called off her wedding because she was convinced the guy was either cheating or would cheat in the future. Now, he wasn't cheating on her and hasn't cheated on the woman he ended up marrying years later. The former friend found a new man, got married, had kids. The man has cheated on her from the very start of their relationship, but she refuses to hear about it. Wow, that is so weirdly toxic. Maybe she was just like, she just couldn't handle the fact that the guy that she was with wasn't a cheater, and therefore in her mind kind of, you know, created a scenario in which he was cheating on her, and perhaps she was just after a toxic relationship after all in which the man was cheating on her. Do you get what I'm saying? Maybe she was looking for like a little bit more toxicity and, I don't know, anxiety in her life, and this guy just wasn't doing it for her. But in order to explain that to people, she had to say, no, I believe he is cheating. And then the new guy that is clearly cheating on her, no, I don't think he is cheating. I don't know what's going on there. Very, very odd. Comment down below if you have any idea what she was thinking. The comments below are saying self-fulfilling prophecy maybe. One often meets their fate on the road they take to avoid it. Well, there we go. I'm just not so sure that she didn't want to meet that fate. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. That's just my initial reaction to that. I think she wanted to be cheated on. Crazy. I know. That's just my thoughts. Anyway, guys, that is going to do it for this one. Really hope you enjoyed this Ask Reddit episode. If you did, comment down below. What is the most absurd reason that you've heard for somebody cancelling their marriage? Now, I don't believe, or at least I hope that you guys don't have as crazy stories as the ones that I've read out today, but maybe some of you do. And if so, as long as they don't involve you, yeah, get them in the comments down below. Let's have some fun. Read through them now, read through them throughout the video if you've been looking at the comments and see what people are saying. I will go through and heart my favorites or the most absurd, because that was Reddit, but I reckon my comment section, our comment section could be even crazier. I hope it's not, but you never know.